I never really liked my voice in the earlier part of my life. My voice was never really like this, from the beginning.
Okay.
Let me tell you about this voice. It was not like this.
Wow.
Secondary school, I was trying my best to get babes. And wait, come.
Welcome to another episode of Wisdom Connect, the platform where we talk about real life issues, always taking back to our guiding principle. On this platform, we're very intentional on becoming the best version of ourselves. So we want you to join us because we encourage learning, unlearning, and relearning. It's a complete no critique zone. So, my guests, I beg you, please not criticize someone else's opinion. It doesn't matter if it does not align with yours. Just give us your opinion without criticizing the other person's opinion. Was there any time you almost gave up? Like, you know what? Maybe I made the wrong decision. I just jacked out with everybody.
2023.
Okay.
I was depressed.
Right.
And the depression came out of a mistake my mom had made that she didn't even know it was a mistake. My mom has a farm. She has a poultry farm. She's based in Ibadan. I just went to see her. And, 2019, not 2023, 2019. This was even before
COVID.
Yeah, before COVID. Now, I want you to picture this, all right? Brother Shaggy was in my department, it was just a year ahead. But he finished with me. Officer Woz was in my class. Owa Victor was my class. Steve Chooks was in my class. The stars in my class, classmates, my course mates, classmates, a lot of them. Now, these are people that were in the same group, same community. Of course, individually, we know those that are really good, and we know those God has blessed.
Yeah.
So you have them come around to your house, visit you, your parents will see them, everybody knows them. And then I just went to see my mom 2019 at the time. And my mom just said one day, we're just in the farm, and she was feeding her fish. And she just said to me, she was watching the YouTube video of Brother Shaggy. And she just said to me, she was like, "Oh, Edgar, isn't not this boy that came to the house the other day? This boy is already doing way better than you." She just, and she didn't mean it. Yeah, she didn't mean it from. Yeah, she just made
but
it.
it just came out.
Because I think at the time I
imagine.
explained to her how that, Yvonne Johnson is doing well. Look at the number of views, number of subscribers. And that time I had about 3 subscribers. Me and 2 other of my personal accounts. I just followed myself, with 3 accounts. I was just creating a new account to grow my, But he had already like 1 million at the time. So my mom was like, "Oh, this guy's already doing better than you." I went home. She didn't even know. I just went home. I was just crying and crying and crying. Like, "Oh God, what am I not doing? What am I not doing?" And my mom came again. The same person that said that came to say, "Edgar, have you done everything? Have you been able to prove to yourself that you have done everything needed to make it?"
Wow.
And I said no. And I actually sat down 2019 and I realized, "Edgar, wait, come. Everything you've done in your life is for other people. You haven't really sat down to create for yourself." I'm like, "Oof. Okay." And again, God just blessed me with COVID, because with
God bless you with COVID.
Yes, with COVID.
Whoa.
You know why? With COVID, I couldn't go out to create for other people.
Right, you had to now create
I had to stay in my house
and create for yourself.
by force, because I couldn't. I love to create, but now I couldn't go outside. So I just got into my car one day, called a friend of mine. She didn't know. I just called a friend of mine. She didn't know I was the one, and I started saying things. And then at the end of the video, I was like, "I can start doing this."
Come on.
So and no jokes, what I did was I had a camera in front of my car. I picked up my phone. I just, what's the word now? I just flipped randomly. Stopped, put my hand anywhere and called the random person. Like, I'll just flip, call.
Oh, they contact on your phone.
Yes, contact on my phone.
Yeah.
But not every contact on your phone knows you.
Yeah.
So I just flip, call. Say hello. They say, "Hello, who is this?" Everyone says, "Who is this?" It's content. I just say nonsense. I'm like, sometimes I can just say, "You, if you ever call this number." They're like, "Who is this?" And it was content for me. And I was like, "Okay, this is COVID. I can just be doing this in my car."
Right.
So.
My goodness. In all you're saying, one thing that really stood out for me is God bless our moms. You know what I mean? Like, having the blessing of our moms. It's just something we can never explain.
I totally agree.
And because of the space that they occupy in our hearts, whatever they say can make or mar us. She just made a very honest, simple statement.
Fact.
But because it was from her, if it was somebody else, you might not have felt it as much. But because it was your mom, So when my mom and I were talking, she was just like, she was trying to be careful the right things to say, because she understands that nobody can take that space that you have, so you have to be really careful what we say. I really like that. But this is an interesting story to listen to. So you really, Paul, was there anything that was there a time you almost gave up? And then if you did, what pulled you through?
Give up. I don't know if there's anything like give up my addiction. My life is always a rolling stone. There's no point at which you want to give up. Okay, that one won't give up. I forget. after applying for so many jobs and I'm not getting a job, I was like, I'm tired, Daddy, I'm tired of applying. My dad looked at me. So is it when you stop applying for the job that you get a job?
You know the subtle words of wisdom from my parents.
My dad is soft spoken. It doesn't. It's just when he talks, you rather if he's angry and he starts using words on you, you rather let this ground just open. Let's enter. my mom will shout. My dad's like, when he told me, I just was like, but I thought I was like, but it's true. This is it when I sit down and now apply that.
That's
now
when you get the job. Yeah.
And I guess was that a give up thing for me? Yeah.
So, but take us to your farming business. Like, was there a time you almost gave up? Because farming now is a good thing. It's luxury. But funny enough, I saw an ad that said luxury goods, and we saw farming. My boss and I were like, farming is now luxury. You know, so like, was there a time you almost gave up? Was you know, with pig farming, fish, and all of that you were doing with your bell peppers, there were times that they were not coming out right. You know what I mean? Like, they were not germinating the way you want them to. And
yeah, so I still struggle with the bell peppers.
Oh, okay.
I would not lie. I started bell pepper last year.
Okay.
The idea came up from, I think we're coming from Delta States.
Okay.
My mom, my dad, and myself were in the bus. And we're coming, and there was a lady, and she was like, I don't know that lady again. I don't know where she is. She was like, you can build a greenhouse and plant bell peppers. That even now, that's look for a bell pepper to buy, it's difficult to get. In my head, I was like.
But did you have a farm at that time?
At that point, there was the fish and the pig were already.
Okay.
Bell pepper. Oh, okay. And yeah, I just thought to add it. At that point, the farming business was my dad's thing. My dad is a farmer to the core. It's not, he has a palm tree, palm something, oil into Delta States.
Right.
He does it. So, and I was already working. I had saved up some resources. I am not a creative like Edgar. I don't know how to do all this social media thing. Money in my account, sitting down, doing nothing.
Right.
And I just decided, okay, you know what? Let's just start this. Let's see. And the first season, it didn't really do well. I would not lie. And my mom was like, you sure you want to do this thing again?
Mom, come again. Right.
At this point, I'm like, do I really want to do this thing again? And
so what made you not give up?
My dad is always
you look like this man and his dad is something else.
My dad is very optimistic about anything. Is support all his children. Like,
right.
I'm like, no problem, do it again. So, do you know how many years I've spent trying to start up my own farm and trying to turn it to profit?
Right.
You don't get it in one day. You keep on trying until you get it.
Right. Interesting. Thank you so much for that. So it means that you do not give up. You have to be relentless. You have to keep trying, right? The same thing Edgar said.
Yes.
And Paul is also saying. But now, you who is watching me right now, have you ever taken any job just because of the money? Tell me in the comment section. I'll be listening to you. I'm willing to read your messages. Okay, guys, let's move on to the next thing I think we should talk about, which is really the turning point, right? Which is like, turning from purpose, paycheck or paycheck, whatever the case. Because at some point, like, I think there was something Sue said earlier, which I really like, which is the fact that there has to be a balance. We have to meet at the center. You know what I mean? Where whatever you're doing that makes you happy also makes money for you. Dr. Miles will say, your dreams open doors for you. I don't know if I'm right with the scripture about showing a man who's interested in his work, you stand before kings, right? It's the work that you're doing, the purpose that God has given you, or the gifts that he has given you, and that's the thing that you can use to make money. You know what I mean? That can also bring money to you. These are things. There's nothing I want to do that cannot have a baritone voice. Let's be honest. There is nothing. No matter the shepe, no matter the weed, no matter the whatever, you know what I mean? It is not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are things that are naturally given, right? And your brain, where they use it to do business.
Calm down.
No, really, I'm just saying. There are things that God has given you that no matter how hard someone else tries, that's not just that's not their strength.
Yeah.
They have their strength. They have to figure out what their strength is, and then with that, you can now build up from that. You know what I mean? So, really, was it a defining moment for you? Was it a defining moment when things shifted for you? Like, when your purpose started to align with your paycheck, like, you know that, okay, I'm being paid for this. I'm also happy that I'm doing this, that kind of stuff. Like, it gave you fulfillment. Like, it wasn't a case of, okay, I'm just here because of the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. There will always be that moment. For me, I remember that I had this talent manager, or at the time, who just discovered me, and he was like, Edgar, I want to work with you. And he was like, I want to really help you. And what we did was that we sat down together. We had this big drawing board, and we drew out my life plan.
Wow.
We drew out my life
Your
plan.
life plan.
Yes, my life plan.
When you say life plan, like 5 years life plan?
No,
Life
five.
plan.
Life plan.
Yes.
The only thing we did not write is the day I die. I'm not kidding. We actually drew out everything. And when we drew it out, what I could understand by my drawing out my life plan was that I knew the things I had to do and the things I would never do. All right. That was what the life plan just showed me. So when an offer comes in for me, I have two buckets. It's either the offer is filling the bucket of experience that drives me to my life plan,
yeah.
or the offer is filling the bucket of fulfillment with money and all the rest
Right.
that sustains me while I'm driving to the life plan. All right. So, for example, now I have, with my bio, you can tell I write, I do voiceovers, I've done commercials, I do stand-up comedy, I MC as well. Now these things are like the drive force. Okay, the goal has never, to me, it has never been I want to be the best MC in Nigeria, or I want to be the best TV presenter. You know, there are some people that will sit down here and say, "Oh, the goal is to be if I can just get a CNN, if BBC can just call me, I have achieved my goal." Like I tell people, like I work with TVC right now. I am happy at TVC. I'm not trying to be the next. Oh, let me move from TVC to BBC. No, that's not mine.
If it comes, that's
if it
great.
comes, awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
But for me, it is. I look at that and say, okay, where does this really
Lead you to.
lead me to? Where is this? What bucket is this filling? Now, awesome. TVC is filling both because they're paying well, and also the bucket of my dream,
Your dream.
is still in that it's still working for me.
Right.
You know. So at the point I knew that this was it was. I had a conversation with my mom, and she told me. She said, "Edgar, this was serious." She said, "Edgar," she was in tears, and she said, "Edgar, you have 1 year to figure out your life. If not, you are leaving this country." Because at that time, I was doing everything. I was just everywhere. I wasn't structured, you know. So I just sat down and I said, okay, this is what I want to do. And God will probably just lead me as I go on and show me other things. But when I met this manager of mine, we sat down. Of course, you know, the first step is you write out all the things you can do in this life. All the things you can do, you just write it down on paper. And then we had a scale of preference to say, okay, this is important. And then the biggest question you have to answer, which is really not about you, just like the other lady mentioned, is what's the biggest problem you can solve? That no one can really solve it the way you can solve it. So I looked at some things and I said, okay, you know what, I can do this. Like for my voice, I never really liked my voice in the earlier part of my life. To be honest, I never really liked it as much. You know, let me just say this here, but I'm not happy I'm going to say this, but I'll just say it anyway. My voice was never really like this from the beginning. I was in secondary school. True story. I would never say this like outside this interview. So if you guys hear this, just keep it to yourself. This is not the story I'll see.
But you know it's going to be aired, right?
Yes, but I'm just saying like this is not the story I'll see. You call me for another interview, but this is the true story.
True story, okay.
Let me tell you about this voice. It was not like this.
Wow.
Secondary school, I was trying my best to get babes. And wait, calm down. I'll explain. And there were like 4 major things I needed, or one. I had to get one of those 4, but I had none of them. I'll tell you what. This is secondary school. I'll tell you. The first one is you have to be rich. If you are rich, it doesn't matter if you're handsome, if you are good, if you have parents that are rich. Because my school, we gauge richness by
car that comes to pick
Yeah,
you
the
up.
car that comes in, the provisions you have. When anybody's bringing
Provisions
conflicts, do you have Cocoa Pops? That's when you know that, okay, this one is not, it's not our mate. You understand?
Right.
When anybody's using Samsung, guys using iPhone,
Yeah.
iPhone 4. You understand? So if you are rich, there is this desire. Teachers respect you. They would even start suggesting you become head boy, like because you just have money. Do you
Yeah.
understand? And like I said, my parents were never rich. They were just accommodative. They just know how to manage whatever they had. So that was the first one. So I was not rich. So cancel. That is cancel. The second one, you have to be brilliant. Now you see that brilliant one. The problem I had with being brilliant was that the questions were just too difficult. Once I just see if x minus once you just put once I see if x
Find X. If Y is this.
once I see X in your question, it means Edgar, go to the next one. Then biology again. You not going to draw one diagram. I just knew that no. I cannot even try and be this one. So
Right.
I canceled the second
Right.
one. Now the third one is you have to be handsome.
Okay.
You have to be handsome. Now the issue is that you can look at me right now. You see, I'm skinny. Now imagine how I was now looking then. If I
No,
show you,
but skinny doesn't say you're not
see,
handsome.
if I show you I'll show you. You have my WhatsApp. I'll
Maybe
show
I'll
you.
put it for everyone to see.
If you see me, you would think I look like a girl at the time. I look more, and my voice was like tiny, not like tiny, but it was
Yeah.
very. So what happened now? Like, it was not like this, but it was not deep.
Right,
Do you understand?
right.
So again, I didn't look like the masculine young secondary school guy would look. Do you get? I don't have facial hair. It is still the day my baba tried to touch this thing. Even though the anger I use it. So you can imagine. So I had all that. And then of course, the last thing anyone would love in secondary school is you had to be fast. Especially for inter-house sports. Ladies loved guys that could run like super fast. The fastest guys. I don't know about you guys now, but back then in my secondary school, if you could run fast during the inter-house sports, you would be loved by many.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I didn't have any of this. I was just that guy, just there. All I could do was yap people. That was the only skill I had. I could just yap people. My seniors would bully me. They would beat me up. I would yap them back. And they would beat me up. So it was a friend of mine that told me that if I sounded intelligent, that I would have a say. I would have a piece of the cake. If I could just sound smart.
All you have to do was sound smart.
Just sound like you're smart. And I'm not actually joking. And so I started to like research, do my little
On
finding
how to sound smart.
on how to sound
oh
smart.
my goodness.
And one of the things I saw was, based on baritone people have that they have a very deep, it's confidence. It comes with confidence. And I was like, baritone? Is it that one I cannot do? And I'm not joking. So I started doing that in school. Randomly. I just woke up one day. I wake up in the morning. My voice is just a little bit deeper, so I maintain it. But it was awkward to a lot of people. So you just see me do, so yeah, how far are you doing? Like, why are you talking like that? Nothing, I just want to talk like this. Okay. So I did it for a bit. And you know how accents just become a thing over time. So I just kept doing it. I kept doing it. And I was stuck. It became very difficult. And then I just polished it over time with training and all the rest. But that was how we really started.
Bottom line, if you want to get that girl, be like Edgar.
Yes, but I will not say this outside. Outside, I will say, okay, of course. Because you know why? I can't say this story outside. I can't tell this story outside.
Why?
Because I know that there is a room for me to come out and teach how to have a deeper voice, how to have a baritone. You know, there are people on my Instagram already saying, Edgar, how can I have a deeper voice? So I'll say, okay, don't worry, my course is coming out next year. You know, if I not start saying, I just faked it. Just like, let me fake my own. You know, so, but I will not come out. I will
How
not
do you
claim.
now stop Abraham from cutting this clip?
No, don't cut it.
Thinking about he wants to cut it.
Don't cut it. Don't worry. Don't cut it. Just leave it. Just leave it.
Oh my goodness.
We shall know the truth is somewhere online. The truth is on this podcast online.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Guys, I know you love the conversation. You like the way it's going. I do too. So, but please, before we go ahead, click on the subscription button just right there, okay? And also put on your notification bell so you can get the notification every time we post a video. Like and also comment. Now let's go back to the conversation.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Don't mind me, Jerry.
Amazing. You know, I like how we just kept talking about how someone pushed us, you know, because sometimes you just need a mentor.
Yeah.
Someone that you trust, someone that you believe in, someone that just really can. I remember when going back to Wisdom Connect, do a lot of things I would have wanted to talk about, but going back to Wisdom Connect, I'd had this idea, COVID actually as well, because then just keep our minds in shape, and then we're not going gaga. We had this constant pillow talk, called a pillow talk with my church in Abuja then, but I was in Lagos, and then we all had this Zoom meeting, talk about stuff, life really, and then we're moderating. Like we're scheduling the moderating, like, so I'll moderate today, someone else moderate tomorrow, and all of that. So after all of that, and I just thought, oh, okay, I'd like to have a, and then I was planning Jakpa, so me too, I've been one quickly, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I'll have to have a community of people who come together, we share ideas, because the truth is no one is really wrong, no one's really, you know what I mean? Like everybody has an atom of wisdom, blah, blah, blah. And that came to mind, and it's okay, I would like to have a community. So when school did not work, or when Jakpa did not work really, I had to restructure. Let's realign this plan. So I still had it in mind, and I went to get a space for myself and all of that. And I'm going this way to tell you something. So I remember telling my mentor, one of my mentors then in church, about the dream I had, about the plan I had for Wisdom Connect and what I wanted to do. But I was waiting to, Jakpa. And then when that did not happen, I was like, okay, you know what? I probably will still do it here. I'll just meet people will just come together. We'll just meet. But I had not done anything. Then one day she just walked up to me in church and said to me, "You, how far? I've not heard anything. Wisdom Connect. Give me feedback by end of the week." Ha! I look myself. I said, which kind of walla be this one? So I was so confused. I didn't know what to do, because the space I had then couldn't accommodate so many people to come in and say, okay, let's have a conversation. And that's when this friend of mine told me that, you know what, why don't you do it online, right? And then that was like, oh, wow. Idea, right? So I'm saying sometimes you need someone that will
my manager told me when I started, when I wanted to have my podcast, Why Am I Still Single podcast, we started last year, August, but we had written the first episode in 2021.
Whoa.
Yes. But the only reason why it didn't come out in 2021 was because I was trying to make it perfect. I wanted a good space. I wanted a good video. I was just thinking about all the things. I wanted proper sound production and everything. And what made me start was that my manager told me at the time, he just said, Edgar, let's make a deal. If you don't start the episode on so day,
right,
every month you give me 50K until you start. And we agreed. And guess what? The week it was to expire, where I was meant to pay the 50K, he just kept saying, I'm on this 50K, I'll use it to buy. I was just upset. I was going to give the guy free 50K.
Right.
Because I was just lazy and I didn't know what to do it.
Right.
So I just said, you know what? I told myself I was going to shock this guy. I was going to just release it. And then, because it's a weekly episode, like I release every week. So every week I don't do it, I'm meant to give him 50K. So the first episode wasn't perfect to me. It wasn't like the way I wanted it to go, but just because I don't want to pay the guy, I just dropped it. And I kept doing that. And then guess what? After some weeks, I did it for about 7 weeks, and then I missed a week. I paid 50K into a particular account where I agreed, and I kept doing it for a while. And of course, I would just try my best. And guess what? When I'd paid up to about 250K, one day he just said, Edgar, I was just teasing you. I never really wanted the money. And then he sent me back the money.
Wow.
But I'd already started the process.
Aww.
So sometimes for people, you need a driving force that is just bigger than you.
Yeah.
You need someone that will just tell you, do it.
Do
you know,
it.
You know the truth is,
do it afraid.
Let me shock you about the dreams that we all have. Do you know that if Dangote, I'm using that as an example, calls you today to say, that dream you want to do it. I did.
You
see,
do it.
You will do.
Guys.
There are some content creators right now that all they just need is that push. Did they not just post their video, or Instablog post their video, or Cracksy post their video, or Positive post? That is the ginger.
Right.
So sometimes I believe that the best way to actually go about it, is not to see your product or your content or your service as just yours. Think of it like you are managing someone's business.
Oh my days! It was such an amazing conversation. The humor. Oh my god! I kept laughing and laughing and laughing. How would you should laugh when you have Edgar and Swa in the building with you? It was an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for watching till this time. I tell you, you are amazing, and that's why you're here. So if you haven't subscribed, please just subscribe and grow this platform. Okay, drop your comments and like our videos. Also share our videos with your loved ones. People should see what we're saying. What do you think? God bless you and have an amazing week ahead.